Hello, welcome to another beautiful Friday. This is Reader's Crib on JMP Bliss Radio, and I am Adejoke Oyekon, but you can call me Adejoke. Reader's Crib is an educative program for everyone. Here on this program, I review interesting and inspiring books ranging from fiction to drama, poetry, biographies, and others. I also interview authors, publishers, writers, with other stakeholders in the book industry. This is in order to inform, learn, and promote the reading culture. On this program, you can also win a book during the trivia question section. I already have a winner for last week's question. Okay, when I get there, I'm going to tell you who the winner is. So, wherever you're listening from, join me on this interesting program every Friday by 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. You can also listen anywhere you are with your children, colleagues, or family. Today, I have another book I will be reviewing, and I will be interviewing the author, who is also a poet. Yes, he's a poet. It is going to be a reading and literary conversation, and the book I am reviewing is How Morning Remembers the Night, written by Ifesinachi Nwadike, published by Knowledge Limited and Growth Lounge Publishing. But before I delve into the book, let me discuss briefly on how reading can change your perspectives. I'll start from where I stopped last week. I mentioned a quote, which is, "The human brain has a capacity to store 5 times as much information as Wikipedia." Now, part of the brain responsible for reading is the cerebrum. The cerebrum, the large outer part of the brain, controls reading, thinking, learning, speech, emotions, and planned muscle movements like walking. It also controls vision, hearing, and other senses. Your brain, when you read, is full of stimuli, as this activity provides many benefits in the short and long term. For instance, it reduces stress, improves sleep quality, increases your vocabulary and memory, and it even leads to greater intelligence. However, few people know what exactly goes on in their brains when they read. You hear often that reading transports you to other worlds and at the same time offers you the possibility of adopting other roles. In addition, today we know that many processes occur in the brain when we read. Once you understand the words you read, it is time to analyze their semantic and syntactic relationships. For example, the order the words maintain, the tenses, complements, and information about the subject. George R.R. Martin said, "A reader lives 1,000 lives before he dies." Yes, the man who never reads lives only one. So you need to keep reading. First, let me ask you this question. What is the most important book you have ever read? Are you thinking? Okay, what is the most important book you have ever read? You will say that it all depends on what you're looking for or what you desire at that particular time. There are books on finances, managing your resources, growth, sales, culture, motivation, nations, life experiences, religion, health, and so on. So you can pick any of your choice. A book allows you to set out a magnificent journey without actually leaving the room, discovering, knowing, understanding, and thereby invoking knowledge. It also allows you to come straight back to your room after going around the world or beyond into the space. So the reason why we read, we move around the world wherever you are. In your present state, you can be anywhere in the world while you are reading and still come back to where you are. When it comes to infusing ethics, morals, and values, books have priceless stories stored in them right after humankind appeared on the face of a planet. The beauty is that these stories never change. The story of tortoise is several millennia old, like many other such stories. Our great-grandfather have told them through generations, and we too have shared them with our children. These stories are the foundation stones of the edifice called character. I'm sure you can remember some of the stories told by our grandfathers, our grandmothers then. The corny story of tortoise, the hare, and even the story of Olurombi. I can't forget that song, Olurombi Jeje Ewure. So these are moonlight stories, bedtime stories, teaching the cultural values of the past, passed on from generation to generation. Children gather around the elders to hear some of these stories about legends, kings, gods, and goddesses, the animal kingdom, and how it came to be, and so much more. I am not so sure this still occurs in this digital age. Maybe in the rural area, but I think it is crucial to pass this on. We can tell these stories to our kids in the comfort of our homes. And we will continue on the topic, how reading can change your perspective, next week. So, as I said earlier, I have a poet who will be sharing with us the significance of poems. Why we need to listen to poems, why he has written the book, How Morning Remembers the Night, and how he got started as a poet, with other related questions. So welcome to the book review and conversation with the author segment. This year's World Poetry Day was marked on March 21st. World Poetry Day was created with the aim of supporting linguistic diversity through poetic expression and increasing the opportunity for endangered languages to be heard. In 1999, World Poetry Day was introduced with the aim of promoting the reading, writing, publishing, and teaching of poetry around the world. To some, poetry can be considered old-fashioned in today's world filled with technology. This is why celebrating World Poetry Day is important, as it encourages the return of traditional formats of poetry. It supports small publishers of poetry and portrays an attractive image of poetry in the media. World Poetry Day is also celebrated because it is one of our most treasured forms of expression, as it can be simple or complex, can challenge traditional ideas or convey love and loss. The terms of literature, fiction refers to the prose of short stories, novellas, novels in which the story originates from the writer's imagination. These fictional literary forms are often categorized by genre, each of which features a particular style, tone, and storytelling devices and elements. Poetry is derived from the Greek word poiesis, meaning making. It is a form of literature that uses aesthetic. Some poetry types are unique to particular cultures and genres and respond to characteristics of the language in which the poet writes. A poem is a fundamental unit of poetry. It can thus be said that poetry is made of poems. In other words, you can say that poems constitute the art form of poetry. A poet is one who composes poems and creates poetry in the process. It is an opportunity to appreciate the power of poetry and how it can capture the creative spirit of the human mind. This is taking me to the book I'm discussing today, How Morning Remembers the Night by Ifesinachi Nwadike. Now let me tell you about this book. The poems in the How Morning Remembers the Night are a power-packed encyclopedia of contemporary realities ranging our homeland. Evocative and haunting as the lines are, they resurrect the stabbing memories of our heroes refreshingly. In How Morning Remembers the Night, harvest of traumatic memories of relatable calligraphy of pains, those are faster asking for healing through the same backfoot of remembrances. The author also weaves emotive lines for lovers to savour as he takes the reader on a trip full of heartbreaks and near misses in his recollections. In his last poem, he fittingly ends the book with, "May rose flower bloom on the road that crossed our path," a tribute to a love so close, so real, but now a memory. This is a fascinating collection broken into parts, but all connected to a general theme, which is personal and collective grief. How Morning Remembers the Night is published by Knowledge Limited and Growth Lounge Publishing in the year 2020. Now, I will say this about the book. The book contains poems that are in conversation with one another, unified by theme, clear and thought-provoking. The author has documented histories that captures the art, whereby making deep meaning and lyrical sentences. Ifesinachi is a good poet with large emotions. I have something from page 60 here that is titled From a Limitless Smothering to Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Let me just read a few from that page. Chimamanda, like an idea whose time has come, your thoughts surge out like whips of smoke from a limitless smothering. Yours is a rattling voice that reaches out to the chasm of chauvinism, trampling out the pathway where the bars of iniquity were set. From the womb of a frail world, the thunder of your dauntless voice smashes the blast of bombs and clamor for war hysteria. Eziaza. As long as a cord of memory shall lengthen on this highway, your name, like your forebears, shall be stenciled in the mental sheet of posterity. You, star of the sky. Okay, you can get more when you have the book. I dare say How Morning Remembers the Night is worth reading, and you should have it in your library. Now, let me read about the author. Ifesinachi Nwadike is a rapper, essayist, poet, playwright, broadcaster, and YouTuber. He holds a BA and MA in English from Imo State University and University of Ibadan, respectively. His works have appeared in Arcade Review, Anna Review, The Sun Review, Praxis Magazine, Ngiga Review, Nunari's Review, Black Boy Review, African Writer, Libretto, Nokoko, that is Canadian Journal of Africana Studies, Wrote for a Wayfarer, an anthology in honor of Pius Adesomi, and elsewhere. A 2018 Ebedi International Writers Residency and Normline. His collection came first runner-up at the Association of Nigerian Authors Poetry Prize 2020. He is the founding editor of Ngiga Review and the co-facilitator of Ngiga Book Club. He lives and works in Lagos. Welcome, Mazi.
Yeah, hi, Adejoke. What's happening?
Good morning.
Good morning, Adejoke. What's happening? How's everything in Ibadan?
Fine. How are you doing?
Well, okay, too.
Okay. Welcome on Reader's Crib. We are happy to have you here. So I want this conversation to be very interesting, and I know you are a rapper. So can you please can you please introduce yourself with a song? Just wrap yourself in.
Are you serious right now?
Yeah, just few seconds. Yeah, let's go. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, my name is J to the P to the EEY. I'm the rapper with a swagger, nobody kind of a power.
Uh,
Drop my name, game like it's 24-hour. Man, I'm flowing, I'm so killing all these rappers like Jack Bauer. And they get in the time for the days of small power because I'm the real nigga. Yo, call me Michael Power. Are you okay
okay,
now?
okay, you're the
Oh,
real nigga.
yeah.
Thank you so much. So let's go
You're
into
welcome.
the program. How did you get started as a poet?
Okay. I think it will be my background. I didn't just start writing poetry. The Sigmund Freudian theory of collective unconscious. I believe literature is a dream of the society, and then I kind of found myself tilting towards the creative when I was quite younger.
Okay.
Those days we'll sing, we'll dance, we'll rap, we'll freestyle, we'll do turntable. The days of those younger days when the likes of DMX, Jaru, Tupac,
Okay.
BIG, yeah.
Okay.
So we found the nexus, the proximity between poetry and rap music. Of course, you know that rap is an abbreviation for rhythm and poetry.
Yes, yes, yes.
So, and then also coming from a lineage of people who are wordsmiths. My father is a teacher, singer.
Okay.
My mom is a singer. Dad is a storyteller. Grandpa, grandma. So I
Okay.
grew up in a house of words, in a place where people just don't talk anyhow. They look for beautiful words to codify their message, and before understanding the message, you take the time to build the words one after the other to be able to understand the compositions that made up that sentence. And so reading and writing came to us naturally. And also, especially that we were introduced to literature at very young age.
Okay.
I was 5 years old when I read the first version of Things Fall Apart, even though I didn't understand it as a 5-year-old. But I knew I was yet to be in primary school full time, because at those days in that primary school, your hand must turn to the back and touch your elbow on the other shoulder.
Yes, I remember.
So I haven't done that when I was given Things Fall Apart to read. So I was exposed to the reading culture on time. So yeah, this is practically how I got into writing. Poetry is just one of my writings.
I was going to ask, did you come from a military background? But you've already answered the question. Your dad, your grandfather, and are you the only author for now in your family?
I would say, yeah, author in the sense of having published. My mom also read English.
Okay.
My mom also read English up to master's level, and she too is a writer, only that she didn't eventually publish. But her younger brother is a celebrated journalist, a writer, and a non-fiction writer. Yes, so I am not necessarily the only writer in the sense of my general family, but from my paternal side, I think I am.
You are okay. That's good to know. So how do you develop poems? Please, can you guide us through the stages of a poem?
Okay. In creative writing classes, there are some proponents who believe that writing is 90% perspiring and 10% aspiring, like 10% inspiration and 90% perspiration. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
But I recall that I was among the few students who challenged that theory when I was in the university. For me, if I'm not inspired, I don't write.
Okay.
I don't just sit down to start forcing my brain to put out something. No. There are days when there is this lecturer of mine at the University of Ibadan during my master's degree those days, Ajinu Sekwazi. In one of his essays, he's insisting that, he insisted in one of his essays that every Nigerian is a poet.
Yeah.
That they kind of quotidian activities, the kind of daily experiences we undergo. If given pen and paper to detail them, you will find out that you only need to scratch the surface of every citizen and you find poetry. Okay? So poetry comes to me from experiences. If I don't feel it, I don't write it.
Okay.
You know? Yeah. So there are days when I will write up to 10, 15, 20 poems at a stretch.
Wow.
Yeah. And there are months when I will write nothing. Like since June last year, I recall very well, till just about some days ago, I have only written 3 poems, and these were interspersed within months. So writer's block is real.
It's real.
Okay. But for you to write poetry, you must first of all, the best way to write poetry is to read other poets. So in a nutshell to this question, I would say you read other poets, you must be conversant with words, and then the rudiments of the stanza put in, and you have to learn how to say so much in so little space, constraining of words, you know, and generally you must be disciplined for you to write. These are the basics.
Okay, the
because
basics.
There are sometimes you'll be writing and you feel like, what the hell am I writing? And then you want to start all over again. You know?
All right.
So
I got that. That's you have to be disciplined. Read other poems and follow the basics.
And follow the basics.
So, is there a special way of reading poems? I know I read it earlier, but I'm not so sure I got that right the way I read it. But is there a special way? I know you can read poems like fictional book, but what is a mode? What is a tone of reading?
So there is a special way indeed of reading poetry. But the only classifications we are forgetting here is that there is page poetry, like I have written, and there is performance poetry, which the Yoruba does very well. And then also, in reading a poem, the mood, the tone, the theme of the poem will determine the mood and tone. In fact, the message of the poem, like the way you read an elegy is not the same way you read a satire.
Okay.
So, but then you must be good with your intonations. You know, where somebody will clearly understand and hear what you're saying, and at the same time distinguish between reading a merely written fiction and a synchronized version of poetry. So reading poetry is actually stylistic.
Okay. So I actually read your book, and I would say you've done a great work. You documented some histories that captures the art. I was recollecting some of this event, and I would like you to. Do you have the book there? I would like to read "Where Coffin Lies." That's on page 13.
Oh, Where Coffin Lies. Yes. One of the most oldest poems in the collection that I've ever written, and a very memorable one too.
Yeah, it's very memorable.
Yes, written because of some of my experiences and some words. Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so can you please read that? Where Coffin Lies. Where Coffin Lie. Fly.
Yeah, Where Coffins Fly.
Yes.
Okay, this is for Bellevue plane crash, October 2005, Susoliso plane crash, December 2005, and Dana plane crash, June 2012, for all the victims. So the poem says, in the hangars, the coffins lie seductively, each cozy interiors lure passengers in, a joy for pallbearers. Exotic cranes, technical dooms, brutal beasts bowing to blazes. Tickets are doomed tags, stairs, the final rite of passage. Lisa, Port Harcourt, Ijuishaga, Bellevue 117, Sosoliso 108, Dana 163. Souls engulfed by the flames of the coffin. The sky is a flying coffin. of grief requiems, Black Roses. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. This is so captures the heart. It's thank you. We are coughing flies. It takes us back to what happened in 2005, and 2012. So how did you come about the title of the book, How Morning Remembers the Night?
Okay. One thing is, if you must title your book, you try to devise a theoretical concept that generally summarizes the major themes in the book. It might interest you to know that the earliest chosen title for this collection was Where Coffins Fly. That in one of the editions, because it took a lot of time to get the work out. But How Morning Remembers the Night connotes a lot of things. For instance, you recall in the Bible where the Bible says, though sorrows may last through the night, but joy comes in the morning. And also, I do not really understand and speak Yoruba very well, but there is an Igbo adage that says, when the sun shines, we will see all that the cricket killed at night. And then another adage that says, let us pretend that all that beat us in the night are mosquitoes. And then the general saying that nothing is hidden under the sun. So the night here, if you look at the cover of the book, you see a lot of things. The woman there is Mama Africa. In her head is starving children, war, plane crash, bomb, suicide, depression, hunger, a lot of things. So, and when these things happen, you hear, Black Friday, Black Tuesday, Black Monday, those kind of things. Darkness is used to represent doom. It's not in the sense of racism now, but it is used to represent bad occurrences, gloom, So, in the morning, with the rising of the sun, there is a likelihood of hope. And of course, it is he who survives the night that, kind of nurses some feelings of hope in the morning to continue survival. So the poem is like the poet is in the morning, remembering the events of the night. So this collection is morning, remembering night. But in the sense of history and memory, it tries to document national memories and historiographies that we want to forget. The poetry is saying, no, you can't forget. Nigerians, Africans will forget a lot. Leah Sharibu is in Boko Haram detention for over 3 or 4 years now. Nobody's talking about that anymore. What is his name? Thomas Sankara was killed. Nobody's talking about him. Patrice Lumumba was killed. Nobody's talking about him. There was war. There are so many things. People died. Dr. Stella Adadevo died saving Nigeria from Ebola. Why are people forgetting these people? So the collection wants you to remember that something like this happened. The collection is the morning, telling you to remember the things that happened in the night. So that is how morning remembers the night.
Yes. I got that. That is very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Who are your favorite living poets?
Actually, I grew up liking a lot of poets, and incidentally, 2 or 3 out of the major poets I love are dead. From Ezenwa Oheto to my idol, Esabai Robi of blessed memory, Christopher Okibo. But the living ones currently are Niyo Shundari, Baba, great poet, and yes, of course, he read and blessed the collection. He was even part of those that edited the collection. Yeah, so Niyo Shundari, Hyginus Ekwazi, Tade Padeola, Nduka Otiono, but I have some peers, some other colleagues and senior poets that I admire their poetry so much. You talk about Savio Padamosi, who, of course, is my best among the current living poets in the younger generation. Yes, A Tributary in Servitude, his first collection, is still very relevant and resonant today. You talk about Ndubisi Martins, you talk about Razak Malik, Frank Ezra, Darlington Chiboze. So these are powerful poets making Nigeria proud, and I love all of them.
Okay, good to know. Okay. There's another one. I think page 63.
Okay, page 63.
Yes, that is
63.
63. Yes, we have
Okay.
sweet scent of citrus.
Oh, yes.
You're laughing.
Yes.
so
The only love poem in the collection.
that is why I'm going there.
Yeah. And the only poem that gives you a sense of hope and laughter. Others are gloomy and angry
Gloomy,
and
yes.
bitter.
I want
I
something
know.
interesting. So, who is Munachi So?
Okay, so Monachim So, which Yoruba will say Oluwa Pelumi.
Oluwapel, okay.
First of all, she's the one that designed the book cover.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's the brain behind the beautiful cover of the book, and of course my fiance.
Oh, okay. I'm clapping for her.
Yes, so she was instrumental in getting the work out and was there all through the periods of writing. It took me a lot of years to get the work finally published, and paying homage to somebody who has been there for so many years now, persevering, bringing the joy and the peace and the light, and sometimes the wahala, because I won't lie, women are troublesome. Yes. So I feel the best way
I
to
say
pay
no. for peace sake, I won't say more than that.
the best way to pay homage to her and say thank you is to write her into poetry.
Okay.
And it might interest you to know that this is the only love poem I've ever written as a poet. Yeah, because if I don't feel it, I don't write it. Like I said. So yes, I hope that even as time passes, the world will remember her in the collections, even when we are no more. Yes.
I am saying thank you to her from the studio. I'm clapping for her.
Yes.
Also.
Yes. Congrats to Monarchy. Yes. The world will know her name.
Yes. So. And how did you get published? Was there any difficulty getting a publisher to publish your book?
Yes, because of the politics of publishing in Nigeria. Because the answer is a resounding yes. But also, most of the delays I experienced in publishing the poem were as a result of artistic patience and discipline. You see, around December last year, when the Association of Nigerian Authors announced that my book is the first runner-up for the annual prize of 2020, I wasn't surprised at all.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah. So why I wasn't surprised was because this collection took me 10 years to produce.
Wow.
I recall that some of the very first poems in the collection were written as far back as 2010. Those are the few that survived the editing. So from 2010, when I assembled the first collection of about 80 poems, we kept on submitting it to other poets because I didn't just want to write anything. I didn't just want to publish anything. I wanted to make sure that I will do a work that even 30, 40, 50 years later, if I see it, I will be like, oh my try,
Okay.
Not the ones you finish publishing. A year later, when you have more experiences, you start begging your publisher to burn all the copies, So from Tade Padeola to Savio Badamusi to Tanuro Jaide, Oshindare, Gilbert Ebini Oboe, mention them.
Okay.
I sent these collections to them. Uche Peter Umez, J.O.J. Nwachukwu Abada, Izo Diala. These are wonderful poets of older generations. I sent the collections to them at different times, collecting their feedback, excuse me, and reworking the corrections into being a better poet, reading more poems, even Professor Remiraji, reading more and more poems, attending workshops and removing some, rewriting some, and then allowing it to stay for a little 6 months, 4 months, 5 months, 1 year before revisiting it again.
Okay.
So the final edition before going to the press was in 2018. Then I sent it to the publisher, who started working on it from 2019 and eventually published
2020. I want you to do something quickly for me. Can you just do a poetry or just do a rap for JMP Bliss Radio? Just give us a signature tune.
Okay, so it's about JP and the JMP Bliss. Rapping is my calling, and I do this is. And nobody's telling me about that Bliss, because I think my best rapper should be about Bliss. I'm rapping for the blows that are fucking and dance, and nobody is telling me about it, the pains. But I write my songs and I'm struggling with the pain, and everybody understands that the money is the game. No, this is the way we work in Nigeria. Never you put your ass down and work with so much hysteria. If you want to be a better person, better discipline, and if you get it time, nobody's telling the be discipline. Oh wait,
okay.
That's what the market be.
Thank you, but I can't hear JMP Bliss Radio. I cannot hear JMP Bliss Radio.
I cannot hear JMP Bliss. The first word I put out was JMP Bliss.
Oh, okay. So thank you. I actually enjoyed the conversation, and I wish you well. Ifesinachi. Thank you for coming. I hope when I call you next time, I know you're writing another book. I don't want to go into that. So,
yes, definitely.
So I'm sure you'll come on the program next time I call you.
No, yeah, sure.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Thank you so much.
And God bless you.
Yes, sir. So this is To Reader's Crib on JMP Bliss Radio with Adejoke.